Good morning, everyone. I'm Glenn Melton with the Bell County Master Gardeners Association, and today we're going to talk about composting and specifically how you can start your own compost pile at home. Okay, so we're talking about composting today. So you might ask, what is compost? Well, basically, compost is nothing more than decomposed organic matter. It's a crumbly texture, and it has a brownish to black color, and it has a very earthy smell. And this is an example right here of some compost that I've got at my house right here. So you might want to ask, why do we want to compost? Compost is a soil amendment that gardeners use in the vegetable bed as well as their landscape. And what composting does is improves the soil texture, it improves soil drainage, and it provides vital nutrients to a crop's plants, to its root system. All in all, it's just an excellent soil amendment. When you start getting your materials ready to compost, keep in mind that as we said earlier, we're talking about two elements here. We're talking about carbon, which is called our browns, and greens, which is called our nitrogen. And I have some samples of browns here, if you can see this. This is a bucket of shredded tree leaves, a 5-gallon bucket. And this is just an example of a coffee filter. A coffee filter also can be considered a brown because it is a paper product and it will decompose. So this is part of your browns right here, which is the carbon. I have here the greens. This is kitchen scraps, coffee filters, eggshells, garlic peels, and just salad greens in here. Then here I've got green plant material. This is mostly an old tomato. There's old squash leaves in here, but I went ahead and chopped these up because if you make them smaller like this and you chop it up, they'll decompose a lot faster, and you'll get a better product at the end. Some of the things that you can compost is, like we just mentioned before, as far as browns are concerned, you can use a newspaper. And if you do use a newspaper, I highly recommend that you shred it. Again, you can use tree leaves, old hay, dried grass, coffee filters, and we said before, shredded leaves. Those are just some of the things you can use as far as brown carbon material are concerned. And as far as the greens are concerned, anything green, especially if it's fresh, and if you mow your lawn and you don't mulch and you bag it, you've got those green grass clippings, that has high nitrogen. So if you discover that your compost pile is short of nitrogen, you can throw in a load of green grass clippings, and that'll help get your compost pile up and running again. But again, you want to use green products like that, grass clippings, kitchen waste, banana peels, eggshells, and pretty much anything that's left over in the kitchen from making a salad or anything that's green like that. Now, what you don't want to compost is meat, dairy products, oil, pet droppings, noxious weeds, and that's just about it, really. So you just want to make sure you don't use any meat or dairy products, because not only will it attract critters, but it'll also cause a stench, and your neighbor's going to get angry at you. Okay. So right now we're going to talk about how you can make your own compost bin at home. If you see right here, this is an old trash bin that I had laying around, and all I did was took a drill and drilled some holes in it. You can't see it, but on the bottom, the bottom has also got holes in it, and right here, as you can see, it's sitting on bricks. This helps me with the drainage, and also if you have a fire ant problem, this also keeps them out, because they just don't like to be under here like this. So this won't attract fire ants either. But also, like I said, it really helps in drainage, and this helps the airflow right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our brown material and we're just going to dump it in here. I like to use 5-gallon buckets because it's easier to measure that way. Then we're going to just get this water. Get it nice and wet. Not too wet though, remember, we don't want it soaking. Then we're going to put our green nitrogen part in it. I'm going to start with these kitchen scraps though, because I'm going to put the leaves on top of it. And the green plant material. We're going to water that in. Okay, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to take some compost that I got from another pile, and we're just going to put a light layer of compost on top of this. And since this compost is finished, it's still got microorganisms in it, so this will give the compost pile an extra boost to help get it started. And we're going to water this in. We're going to let this sit for about a week and just see how it does. We're not going to turn it for a while, but we want this to sit and cook, and we want to see how it does. You can take a look at it here, because if it turns out that it doesn't reach the temperature you want, you may have too many browns, because that will decrease the temperature, and if you don't have enough nitrogen, that'll just slow the whole process down. So at the end of the first week, you should know where you are. If you have, like I said, thermometer, you might want to invest in one of these thermometers. I had to get this online, but it's only about 10 bucks. So you put it in here and you wait and see what the temperature got. We may get some results today. We'll take a look and see. But anyway, the procedure we followed right now is what will start this composting process beginning. And with any kind of luck, it'll go up to about 130 or so here shortly. Okay, how do you tell if your compost is done? Well, first of all, you know, if it's that 130 to 160 range, you know it's doing this thing and it's working good. So basically, when your compost pile is about half the size it was when you initially started, it's pretty much done. Or when you turn it and the temperature doesn't rise anymore, it is done. And when the material that you get out of there is soft and crumbly with a nice texture to it, as you see right here, if it's like this, then you know it's done. If it smells earthy and it crumbles in your hand, you'll know it's done. What you'll do then is you just use it wherever you want. Put it in your vegetable beds or in your landscape, in your flower beds, and your soil will appreciate it. And that's all we have on our composting today. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.